Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 110. Are you ready to join the clan? Today we have Simon Thompson and Monika Pietrowski, the digital nomads and the founders of Content Kite, an end-to-end content marketing business. They specialize in working with digital agencies to help them generate more leads via rich, evergreen content. Hello, Simon. Hello, Monika.
Hi, Patience.
Hi, Patience.
I know the clan is anxious to hear your story. So let's get started with the basics. We are going to start with Simon. Can you tell my clan a little bit about your background, what you did before you started your own online business?
Sure. So I used to work for a large digital publisher in Melbourne. They were called MI9. They were a joint venture between Microsoft and one of the broadcast networks in Australia called Channel 9. And the combination of the two, they were the largest digital publisher of content in the country. So it was a pretty good place to be, exciting place to be, learnt a ton, but eventually just sort of got the bug to go and travel and eventually start our own business, which is where we are now. But that's kind of my background in a nutshell.
Wow. And Monika?
Mine's fairly similar to Simon's. We actually met at MI9 in Australia and then decided we would embark on this adventure together. So, my background is in digital marketing and advertising, but I've always had a passion for content. And, we saw an opportunity that the industry, it's growing and there is a lot of opportunity worldwide for it. So we decided to set off. We had no intention of settling down in Australia for the time being and the overinflated housing market, and we wanted to see the world and travel and didn't really have one specific place that we wanted to live. So we thought, why not live in all the different places that we want to visit. So here we are now.
Wow. What a background, both of you. Okay, this is going to be for you, Monika. What is the most dangerous belief an online entrepreneur can have?
That they can't succeed. The scarcity mindset that there isn't enough business to go around. The internet is a huge place, and there is always going to be opportunities if you look, and if you have the right mindset.
Why? And you, Simon, what do you think?
I guess I'd echo that, but also sort of offer the flip side of it's a dangerous belief to think it's easy. I mean, it's definitely something worth going after, but every business, as I'm sure a lot of your audience knows, has a unique set of challenges, and you just sort of need to be aware that they're coming up and have your mindset ready to tackle them. But that's all part of it and what makes it so exciting, I guess.
Why do you do what you do, both of you?
We love it. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, this wasn't actually our intention when we moved overseas. We were going to get jobs in America and sort of do a bit of travel around America, and that was that. And then to supplement our income while we were looking for jobs, we both started doing a bit of freelance work on the side, and it went sort of better than we both expected. And we just started thinking one night and had a very casual conversation, a very off the cuff conversation about maybe if we actually weren't just doing this on the side and we actually put our full focus into this, maybe we could actually launch a real business out of this, and this could be our main source of income, which is which is where we are now.
We also met a lot of inspiring entrepreneurs when we first got to America. We were living in Austin, Texas, which is a big hub for entrepreneurship, and there's a very big startup culture there. So we were inspired through the people we met, and then worked on our own ideas to make them a reality. So, and I think our having a background in the digital space and online advertising definitely helped us. But I think it's definitely something that anyone could do if they have the right mindset and a passion for what they do.
Wow. How did you, both of you said your background, you are into digital marketing, but then how did you come together to make this work for you?
Well, we are very fortunate in the fact that we work really well together, and so we understand that we both have different strengths, so we play to those. So Simon within the business looks after the business development and the client outreach, and then I look after the marketing and creative side. And so we strike a good balance, and obviously help each other out where we need to. But we also now hire content managers and designers, and they're remote just like us. So we have a digital relationship with them, and we all work together to fit all the pieces.
If somebody was looking to partner up with somebody or looking to join venture, how was it easy for you to come together? What advice would you give it to them?
Yeah, I would say a really good way to go about it is to sort of clearly define what each person's role is going to be. So, as Monika said, we both had sort of complementary skill sets, and we don't try to silo it so much so that I am only working on this one thing and Monika is only working on this one thing. But there's certainly, a part of the business that I take ownership over and a part of the business that Monika takes ownership over. I mean, we haven't tried it too many other ways than that, but that does work for us. And I would imagine that it would work for other entrepreneurs. So that would be my recommendation for people going into a joint venture.
Okay, let's put man aside. How did you know you were successful in your business?
For mine, I particularly remember like one point in time where just a large contract got signed off, and the feeling of we've kind of made it here. We'd made in that 1 month more than both of our incomes combined. That was, to be honest, a short-lived feeling, because the next month we were delivering a whole lot of client work, and so all of the business development stuff sort of fell by the wayside. And then you sort of have these peaks and troughs of a lot of business coming in and then no business coming in. But I mean, to answer your question, that was the moment, but it was short-lived, and now we've got it to a point where the business development side is a bit more repetitive and automated, so we don't sort of have these big troughs of no work coming in anymore.
It's more stable.
It's a lot more stable now. Yeah.
For me, it was probably when we started to see the results from the work that we were doing. So we were getting reports of how the content was performing and the positive impact it was having for our clients in terms of getting them extra traffic to their website, getting them leads, and people inquiring into what they're doing through the content that we're producing for them.
Mm.
Okay. Monika, can anyone be an entrepreneur, or are some people more cut out for it than others?
I think some people are more cut out for it than others. I think you have to have, above all, a passion for what you're doing. To be honest, I never thought that I would be an entrepreneur myself, but, it's something that I've only recently discovered. So, for anyone thinking that it's not for them, that might not necessarily be the case. But I think that there are definitely people that gravitate to it a lot more than others. But I think it's definitely something that anyone can achieve if they have passion for what they do and belief in the fact that they can succeed.
Simon, what reassurance or encouragement have you got for the members of my clan who are not quite there yet?
I would say if you're thinking about doing something, just do it. And I know that's sort of a cliche, and it comes up quite a bit, but it really is the answer, because the only way you'll find out is not by reading a bunch of blog posts and reading books will do well, but really the only way to learn is to get in there and start doing it. So I would just say, this is how Content Kite came about. Was we created a spreadsheet and we wrote about 50 things that needed to be done, and if all of those things were done, then we would have a business launched. And then, we were working on it full time, so we were able to do a couple of those things a day, and we had the business launched fairly quickly. But what I'd recommend to someone, if they're still in a job, or they just want to get started a bit slower with it, is to write down all of the things that need to be done. And if they're all done, you'll have a business started, and do one of those things a day. And if you do one of those things a day, in 1 to 2 months, you'll have a business started. But it's all about just taking that first step.
Just to add to that, I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with the thought of starting something and think that they need to get from 0 to 100 in, a week or a month. That's not the case. It's launching something, even if it's not exactly how you want it to look like, is better than not launching it at all and stalling and waiting until it's perfect, because you can always improve it. And that is what you are doing anyway. You're constantly working to improve the business. We're constantly changing and updating things and processes for Content Kite. So it's better for you to just dive in rather than wait until your product or service is perfect.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get into their heads that once you've come up with the logo and the name and the what it is that you do and et cetera, that's how it's got to be forever. But really, if you look at any successful business, I cannot think of a single exception here. Any successful business at the moment, it probably looks drastically different to now than to how it was when it begun. And so I think this notion of, first impressions count, it's got to be right from the start, is sort of not entirely, I don't think that it has to be perfect from the start. And in fact, there's, one of the best pieces of advice I've heard is if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product or your website or your service or whatever, then you waited too long. And I would definitely echo that.
Okay. This is for you, Simon. Do you have a mentor or a coach?
I don't have a mentor per se. I do have, a mastermind buddy. So we catch up every Monday. His name's Niels. Shout out to Niels. And so we sort of we're in a similar position business wise. So it's just good to have sort of an outsider's perspective on things, because obviously Monika and I, we talk a lot about the business. We're both very involved in it, but for that reason, I guess we are both so involved in it that we can't view it from the outside. So it's good to just have that extra perspective and talk about business, with someone else.
Do you go with Monika, or Monika, you have a different mentor? You have a coach?
I don't have a mentor at the moment. It's something that I'm looking to start. I've noticed, Simon's really seen some great benefits from his partnership or, relationship with Niels. So that's something that I want to start doing as well. But I don't have my own at the moment.
Okay, this is for Simon. What is the most valuable thing your mentor or your coach, Neil, has told you?
I couldn't pinpoint one specific thing. We've only been catching up for the last 2 weeks. It sort of came up out of the blue, but he's definitely sort of just mentioned a few different tactics and strategies that can be applied to any sort of business really, that we've sort of started to put into place, mainly to do with, generating new business and how to handle certain sales situations, which have been really helpful. But yeah, I think the best is yet to come from that. I mean, being in a mastermind is something I've been heard of the benefits for so long, and I've only just recently decided to actually get involved in one. But yeah, I think it is just good to have a different perspective other than from only within inside the business, which like I said, Monika and I bounce a lot of ideas off each other, but it's just having the outsider's perspective has been the most valuable thing so far.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success so far?
To be honest, I think I mean when we started the business, failing wasn't really an option for us, and I mean we were running out of money, and this was our only source of income, so we sort of really had to make it work. And I wouldn't necessarily recommend that to a budding entrepreneur. It's been extremely stressful at times, but also extremely rewarding at times. But if I had to choose something, it would probably be that, because I mean there wasn't really the option to not succeed. So we really just had to put our heads down and try everything and see what worked and put in a lot of hours. And that's sort of been a real motivating factor for us. Just that there's no safety net at the moment.
I would have said exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I think there was no room for failure. And I think in some ways that's a blessing, and in some ways it was a curse. But it's worked out for us, and yeah,
here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
Okay. What is one thing no one knows about you?
Thing that nobody knows.
That's a good question. We eat far too much cheese. I don't know if that's something no one knows about us.
Well, actually, when I was growing up, I wanted to be an archaeologist. There you go. I'm fascinated by history. And I don't think I've ever told anyone that. But then I found out, to be honest, that they don't actually make a lot of money. So I pivoted my dreams.
So your motivation was making lots of money.
Well, it wasn't my complete motivation, but spending long days in the sand and out in the sun, and not getting compensated adequately, I thought I could try something else.
Okay. What keeps you grounded, both of you?
Probably each other, I'd say. I don't know how well, I can only speak for myself here, but I don't know how I'd go, if I didn't have Monika sort of, helping me through everything. So that's been really good. I mean, yeah, like I said, we travel a lot, so there is quite a bit of chaos going on, because you lose days where you can't work, and things do get pretty stressful, but we can always sort of rely on each other to keep us grounded.
Yeah, I think another thing is we've developed a very good morning routine, and that involves drinking lemon water when we wake up to sort of detox from the day before. We exercise in the morning. Simon goes for a run. I do some yoga. And then we meditate. And I think meditation is a big help for us, especially just to calm ourselves and prepare for the day ahead. With just 10 minutes is all we do. And I think it has a really good impact on us.
Yeah, definitely helps.
How do you really strike the balance between your work and your everyday life?
Yeah, it's a good question, because we are traveling so much, and we're in so many new cities that we do want to get out and experience. But at the same time, we do have to do the work, otherwise things start falling apart. So
what's the secret?
Well, so at the moment, actually, we tend to keep a fairly sort of 9 to 5-ish schedule. So yeah, like Monika said, we wake up pretty early, go exercise. We'll start work at about 9. Sometimes we might be able to finish up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, depending on what's going on. Sometimes we'll work till 10 o'clock at night. But in any case, we generally have the weekends off, which is good. So that's where we can, go explore the city. We can go out at night and, have a bit of a walk around. But it is tough sometimes because we don't, in a way, entrepreneurship gives you a lot of freedom over your time. But also on the flip side of that is sometimes things come up that you have no control over that have to be addressed at that time or at a certain time. So, there are certain things that you just can't get out of, and it does take up a lot of your time. So it's a work in progress, I'd say.
I think with entrepreneurship, there's always something that can be done. You're always working on your business, whether it's doing something for a client or for your business itself. So I think it's really important to be aware of that and to make sure you do allow yourself time for the nice things in life, spending time with your family and friends. If you're traveling, going out and exploring, even if it's just, for an hour, at lunchtime, but making sure that you set aside time to do that, because what you'll end up doing is just burning yourself out. That won't be fun.
What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away, both of you?
It's a good question. I'd say this may come off as semi-arrogant, but I'd say probably advice. I mean, if you can give advice to someone that helps them grow their business, that can be potentially life-changing to someone. And, we've had the opportunity where we've been able to do that, whether it be for clients or friends or people we know. We've been able to teach them about the mistakes that we've made and the successes we've had, and they've been able to apply it and, put it into practice in their lives, and it's been extremely helpful for them. So, yeah, I'd say that's probably it for mine. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay, let's talk about your business. Tell us more about the Content Kite.
Sure. Yeah. So we're a full service content marketing agency. So by full service, I guess, I think what a lot of people think of content marketing, they often think about writing a blog post and putting it on their blog, and that's content marketing. It's sort of only one piece of the puzzle in our view. So we break it down into 4 main pillars. So strategy, creation, promotion, and conversion. So creation, bit I just touched on, is writing a blog post or creating a video or creating an audio recording or whatever it is. But it's just as important to be promoting that and making sure people are actually consuming the content and making sure it's all part of a cohesive strategy. And then also making sure that, those people who are consuming the content could potentially go on to become a customer for the client. So that's sort of how we view it. It's more this holistic approach to content marketing, and that's what Content Kite is sort of based around.
How do you manage client expectations working remotely?
So in general, we don't mention that that we're traveling around as much as we are, and we've just sort of revealed that. So if any of our clients are listening, we're sorry, but I don't think it would be a big deal. I mean, we haven't been asked, and we just don't tell.
What we do is we actually work to our clients' time frames. So there's never a point where we're unreachable.
Exactly. Yeah.
At the moment, all of our clients are based in the US. So what that means for us is we work a lot on the business side and the admin side of Content Kite in the morning, and then in the early afternoon when America wakes up, we start getting emails and we're able to respond to them. And sometimes that means we're working till 11 or 12 at night because that's when our clients are up. But we always make sure that we're available and we're able to be reached.
Yeah.
What is the biggest challenges for you as a digital nomad?
I'd say just I mean, shifting time zones for one, and like travel days. So, I mean, yeah, even if I mean, we recently went from England to France, and it's just a whole day of travel, really. And, when you get in the trains and the planes and cars and et cetera, et cetera. And it just really throws you off your rhythm. And we're really big about, doing our morning routine every day and being in a rhythm. A routine is really, really helpful to, keeping focused and making sure things get done. And I would say that's sort of one of the bigger challenges of being a digital nomad is just consistently, losing your routine.
Okay, I have seen lots of agencies. This is like doing the outsourcing. So what is so special about your Content Kite agency?
Well, we offer a very unique proposition in that our offering is kind of set. So we'll create the strategy and have the content produced, whereas it's kind of done in a more effective and efficient way. A lot of agencies, they kind of offer this broad strategy, and then there's a lot of movement going back and forth before anything actually gets done. We're able to, if we sign off on a new client, we're able to start implementing, getting content produced within a week, and then it can be, up on their blog, on their company blog within 2 weeks. So I guess it's a lot more efficient.
Yeah, we're very process driven, big on systems, and I would say that for a lot of businesses we're not a right fit, but for the businesses we are a right fit for, we work with very well. So, I mean, we have turned away work before if it just hasn't been the right fit. But we've got things streamlined, and basically what we're saying is we've really specialized in doing one thing very well, or four things rather very well. So strategy, creation, promotion, conversion, and then we sort of ignore everything else outside of that. Although we do sort of see that as being the holy grail, I guess, of content marketing, those four things, in our opinion.
What is your clientele? Is it like the beginners, the established one, the middle one? So what is the type of your clientele you take on?
Yeah, so they're generally, I guess, smaller businesses in the scheme of things. So maybe 10 to 20 person companies. We tend to specialize in working with other quote unquote digital agencies. So web development agencies, app development agencies, web designers, software development companies, those kinds of companies. It's just sort of, where we found having the most success. But yeah, they tend to be smaller companies. We do have one client that's about 500 people within the company. So we're not closed off to working with them. But yeah, at the moment, most of our client base is sort of 10 to 20 person companies.
We actually identified this sort of digital agency niche by conducting a study where we looked at the blogs of 1,000 digital agencies, and of those agencies, we looked specifically at how frequently they were posting blogs. And then from that, we were able to sort of go after those agencies that were posting, but maybe not very regularly. So, there was the opportunity. So they understood the importance of having a company blog, but they maybe didn't have the time or the resources to be able to do it on a frequent basis and really see the benefits of it. And that's who we went after.
Do you mind telling us your charges if someone on the line is listening and they want to join your company? How much do you charge? Or is it per client according to their needs?
Yeah, no, so we do have a fairly set pricing structure. Like I said, we're very process and systems oriented. So our offering tends to be the same amount of work for each client. The output is always going to be different, but the inputs tend to be the same. So for our monthly package, which includes weekly blog posts, and the strategy and the promotion and the conversion funnel aspects of it, we charge $2,400 US a month. And that just works like a monthly retainer. There's no lock-in contracts, but yeah, that's sort of the price point we work with.
Okay. Where can we find your company, and where can we find your details to get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I would just direct people to contentkite.com. They can have a look around the website there, and if anyone would like to drop us an email, just simon@contentkite.com or monika@contentkite.com, Monika with a K. And yeah, we'll answer every email that comes in. So, if you just have any questions about entrepreneurship or being a digital nomad or whatever it may be, just drop us a line there and we'll definitely get back to you.
So, clan, there will be more from Simon and Monika in a moment. If you are finding Simon and Monika's journey interesting and you are ready to hear more, come and listen to the full version of the interview at onlinesuccessjourney.com. If you are on Online Success Journey already, click on part 2 of Simon and Monika's journey and you'll get more tips to help you with your own online business, especially content marketing and blog posting and other services. And don't forget, you can access all other Online Success Journey interview podcasts on the site as well. That's a wrap, clan. Remember, success is a journey. Patience, Simon and Monika.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to part 1 and want to be sure you know there is a second part to this and every journey podcast at onlinesuccessjourney.com. filled with even more success tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. There are dozens of episodes only available to the members of the Online Success Journey clan. Check out the website and click on Join the Clan for more information. Patience would like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and she has a free audio gift for you at her website. Go to onlinesuccessjourney.com for instant access to this gift. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and to listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review it at Stitcher and other sites by clicking the stars or completing the ratings form, by clicking thumbs up and leaving a comment on YouTube, or liking and sharing the podcast on social media. To review the podcast within iTunes, simply open iTunes to the podcast, click on Ratings and Reviews, then write a review. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.